8:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by J. Yogaraj, read by Soundithavam. The President invites all political parties to help stabilize the economy and address the ethnic issue. Former President praises the operation to net drug traffickers. The CEB denies responsibility for island-wide power failure. A meeting between the new Indian High Commissioner and the Minister Kanchana Wijesekara was held this morning. The government to grant land ownership to 10,000 in January. The Joint Union of the Highways has organized a protest this afternoon. The SLBC to add 200 luxury buses to online reservation service. Nearly 10,000 new dengue cases detected last month. In news overseas, Israel extends ground offensives to central Gaza. And in sports, Musaeus College life-saving champions. In a significant announcement at the centenary celebration of the Badulla Gurutalavala Muslim Central College this morning, President Ranil Wickremesinghe highlighted two critical challenges facing the nation: building a stable economy and addressing the ethnic problem. The President extended an open invitation to all political parties again, urging them to join hands in achieving these goals, irrespective of party affiliations. President Wickremesinghe emphasized his commitment to safeguarding the rights of all citizens and expressed a desire to swiftly resolve lingering issues related to reconciliation. He revealed plans to make a special statement on these matters in March. During his visit to Gurutalavala Muslim Central College, the sole Muslim national school located in the Uva province, the President received a warm welcome from the students. As part of the centenary celebrations, he inaugurated the college's new website. The principal, A. Samun, presented the commemorative issue to the President, marking the centenary of the college. President Wickremesinghe took the opportunity to award medals to students who excelled in the GCE Ordinary Level and GCE Advanced Level exams. Congratulating the college on its centenary, he left a note in the commemorative book and posed for a group photo with the teaching staff. A meeting between the new High Commissioner of India, Santosh Jha, and Minister Kanchana Wijesekara was held at the Ministry of Power and Energy this morning. The meeting focused on strengthening the bilateral ties between the two nations. The discussion also paid attention on the future activities on the country's power and energy sector. The minister thanked India and the former Indian High Commissioner Gopal Bagle for extending support to Sri Lanka during the fuel crisis in the past. Steps are being taken by the government to grant full ownership of state lands to 10,000 people who receive lands under a license system in January next year. This is according to a proposal presented by President Ranil Wickremesinghe in the 2024 budget. The Wastelands Ordinance was passed in 1897. The British government acquired thousands of acres of rural land across the country under that ordinance. Afterwards, in 1935, under the Land Development Ordinance, those land slots were distributed among farmers under the license system. But although around 100 years have passed, the ownership of these lands have not been handed back to the farmers and other people who own them. The President in the 2024 budget said the government will be handing over the lands to farmers who lost the ownership of their traditional lands during the British colonial era. The task, which will start in January, is to be completed within another few years, and 2 million families will get the ownership of land and farmland. The Cabinet of Ministers approved this program on December 11th. Ownership deeds will be issued next January for those who have already applied. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The Sri Lanka Transport Board Chairman Lalit Dialvis said that next year 200 luxury buses will be added to the bus fleet currently deployed under the online passenger seat reservation service. The chairman also said that the online passenger seat reservation service, which is conducted for more than a year through the website sltb.eseat.lk, was highly successful. He said that nearly 80,000 passenger seats have been reserved since January this year, and the SLTB had earned an income of nearly 35 million rupees. He went on to say that the demand for the online service had increased during the Christmas holidays, and seats could also be reserved during the hotline using hotline 1315. That's using hotline 1315. A protest and a trade union action was held at the head office of the Highway Maintenance Centre at Bandaragama. The joint union of the highways had organized this protest. The protest was staged, citing the relevant top officials are not giving due respect to the employees' rights. However, the Director General of the RDA, IVS Virakun, said the protest was held without disturbing the highway operations. Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa praised the operation launched to net drug traffickers, claiming that it was a progressive move by the government. He told reporters that drugs have ruined the young generation. Drugs have destroyed the whole country and the younger generation, so it is a good move by the government to net the drug traffickers, he said. That concludes local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatma.
While denying reports that the Ceylon Electricity Board accepts the blame for the recent island-wide power failure across the island, the CEB said that 2 committees are investigating the island-wide power failure on December 9th. The CEB said that a statement regarding the cause of the power failure can only be issued after the completion of the relevant investigations. They said an external investigation committee and an internal investigation committee are investigating the incident and came to you in the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatma.
This is Watchlight.
The National Dengue Control Unit on Tuesday announced that the average number of daily dengue cases detected in the country had increased to 335 last month. A total of 8,728 dengue patients have been reported in the last 25 days, the NDCU said. Although 85,216 cases had been reported from 1st January to 25th December 2023, they said most of the cases are reported from the Western Province. That came to you in Watchlight.
Coming up, World News.
Making headlines tonight, Japanese court orders state Tokyo to pay damages over wrongful investigation. Israel extends ground offensives to central Gaza. And South Korean actor Lee Sun-kwon of Oscar-winning film Parasite found dead in Seoul. A Japanese court has ordered the central and Tokyo metropolitan governments to pay damages over the wrongful arrests and detention of 3 people suspected of involvement in what they consider to be illegal exports. Okawara Mazaki, who heads chemical machine maker Okawara Kakohi, and 2 others sued the 2 governments, demanding the payment of damages worth over 500 million yen, or about $3.5 million. Israel's military says it has launched attacks on Hamas targets in a refugee camp in central Gaza, raising fears of more civilian casualties in new ground offensives. Spokesperson Daniel Hagari said on Tuesday that the military expanded the fighting to an area known as the central camps. The military said it attacked the targets in the Burej Forest refugee camp after urging residents there and in other central Gaza areas to evacuate. Lee Sun-kwon, a popular South Korean actor known for his role in the Oscar-winning film Parasite, was found dead on Wednesday in Seoul. He was under investigation of allegations of illegal drug use. South Korean media reports say the actor was found in a car parked near a park in the central part of the capital. The police were searching for Lee after receiving a call from his family saying he had disappeared after leaving what looked like a suicide note. A charcoal briquette was reportedly found on the passenger seat. That concludes this bulletin of World News.
Development News.
Sri Lankan Airlines will add 4 new aircraft to their fleet by the end of January 2024, bumping up its total aircraft capacity count to 25, a release from the airline said. Firstly, on December 29, 2023, a newly leased Airbus A320 aircraft bearing the serial number 4R-ABS would be added to the fleet. Leased for 6 years, the aircraft arrived from Malaysia to Colombo on December 21, 2023, and will be put into service immediately after customization and branding. That's Development News.
Moving on with Sports News.
Museus College A team won the Women's National Championship with 352 points. The Sri Lanka Air Force were the runners-up with 305 points, and Museus College B team ended up in third place with 287 points in the 72nd National Life-Saving Championships 2023, organised by the Sri Lanka Life-Saving Federation and was held at the Valigama Beach, Matara on December 22nd, and at the Sri Lanka Life-Saving Training Centre, Swimming Pool Complex, Matara on December 23rd. That's sports news. We take a look at business news next.
Go ekak tiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
One of the biggest multi-development projects in the region, the Port City Colombo, hosted a series of Christmas events at the Port City Marina Promenade on December 22nd and 23rd. One of the first projects under the Port City, the international duty-free operated by a Singapore company, is expected to be open next month. Chairman, Port City Economic Commission Dinesh Virakodi, guest artists and other invitees were present at the event. That's business news, economic news up next.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak tiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
And now in economic news.
A well-coordinated and focused implementation effort by the government, policymakers and the Central Bank of Sri Lanka saw Sri Lanka recovering from its worst economic crisis sooner than expected, said the Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe, at the Macro-Prudential Surveillance Department, MSD, of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, organised press conference held recently on the Financial Stability Review 2023 in the atrium of the CBSL head office. He said that this was not a one-man show, but a collaborative effort. He recalled that Sri Lanka's inflation was one of the highest in the world at around 70% a year ago, but it was brought down to a single digit and is now around 3%. The scarcity of drugs, fuel, gas and other essentials is no longer an issue, and import restrictions, barring motor vehicles, too have been lifted. That's economic news.
Weather report.
The Met Department says that showers will occur at times in the northern, north-central, eastern and Uva provinces and also in the Hambantota district. Several spells of showers will occur in Matale and the Nuwara districts. Fairly heavy showers above 75 millimeters are likely at some places in the eastern and Uva provinces and in the Hambantota district. Showers or thundershowers may occur at several places elsewhere over the island after 2 p.m. Fairly strong winds, about 30 to 40 kilometers per hour, can be expected at times in the eastern slopes of the Central Hills, also in the northern, north-central, eastern, Uva and southern provinces. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the Sabragamua, central and western provinces, also in Goal and Matara districts during the morning. The public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damage caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during thunder showers. This weather report was published this evening at 7:30 p.m. Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. To conclude this bulletin of news, a recap of the headlines. The President invites all political parties to help stabilize the economy and address the ethnic issue. The former President praises operation to net drug traffickers. CEB denies responsibility for island-wide power failure. A meeting between the new Indian High Commissioner and the Minister Kanchana Wijesekara was held this morning. The government to grant land ownership to 10,000 in January. The Joint Union of the Highways has organised a protest this afternoon. The SLTB to add 200 luxury buses to online reservation service. Nearly 10,000 new dengue cases detected last month. Israel extends ground offensives to central Gaza. And Museus College life-saving champions. With that, we conclude tonight's news broadcast, and now it's back to your host to take you right up to the end of transmission. And now for the next 1 hour to dance to your tune. Back to you, Romesh.
Thank you, Soundly, and that was Sound Tawam with the final news bulletin of the day. And may I take this opportunity to convey compliments of the season and best wishes for the new year. Have yourself a pleasant evening and have a safe journey back home. You're tuned to Radio Sri Lanka. The time is precisely 9 o'clock.